What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Hesi Hoopcast. My name is Marcus. I am your host and the moderator of this show, and we're going to get right into it today because we got a lot to get to. Fellas, how are you doing? We have Black Moses right here, and we have Leak right here. Black, what's good with you, man?
Maybe we should start with Leak. You know what I mean?
You know what I'm saying?
Last week, Leak was upset, so you know what I mean. Let's Leak. How about
Leak? How you doing?
I appreciate that. See, this is almost like no Hesi affirmative action or something, right? You know what I mean? It's like since because of the demographic I play a part in, you have to allow me to bloviate first, right? Or else it's backlash. So I'm doing well. Been a busy weekend with work, but everything's good, man. I'm looking forward to the hoop talk. It's been some good. The season's been very interesting. I'll just say that. But I'll leave it there. Black, how you hanging in there, man?
Well, same, man. It's been a very long weekend with holiday and work and stuff like that, man. But hoop has been great. The finals are set, so I'm ready to get into it.
Absolutely, man. And happy 4th of July to everyone, or 4th of July weekend. Hopefully you had a great, safe weekend. Shout out to everyone who's viewing this live and all those who are viewing the replay, man. We really appreciate you guys rocking with No Hesi. Do us a huge favor. Like and subscribe to us here on YouTube. Like this video and shoot it to someone who, loves good hoop talk, because that's what we're all about here. Absolutely. And then when you're done with that, head on over to Instagram. Follow us on IG. We're very active there. So, man, fellas, let's get into it. We got a lot to get to. Let's start with a review of the conference finals. The finals are set, so I'd love to hear you guys' take on the series that was. Black, we'll start with you.
Man, I think we all kind of had the idea that this was going to be the finals. Based on our last episode.
Yeah.
But I think starting with the Suns and the Clips, I thought the Clips would have at least got one more game to make it a 7-game series. I'm a little surprised that the Suns were able to close that out, especially with the way Paul George looked in Game 5. I thought that, maybe he had another T-Mac-esque performance in him. But, Chris Paul came through, a lot of illegal tech. You know what I'm saying? A lot of pick and roll action with Ayton. CP looked pretty locked, didn't he? Like, he literally went deep into his bag of, illegal tricks. You know what I'm saying? Getting Pat Beverly tossed. Inciting anger on the sidelines. CP literally did everything he could in order to close that series out. So, as much as we hate the guy, right? As much as we want to roast the guy, he got it done, man. What did you think, Lee, on that series?
Man, I mean, I think I'm pretty much in lockstep with what you said. I really think CP had a legendary game. Which is what I thought it would take for them to make it out this series at the time. And apparently I was correct. CP needed to have one of those 30 points, 20 points, 15, 13 assists, no turnovers. If we could get something like that from him, I felt like the series was done. And it looks like we got more. He dropped 41. He had like 8 assists, no turnovers. I mean, he just master classed it. Pat Beverly and Terrence Mann and any other perimeter player that decided to step up. I also think that Paul George, I think he redeemed himself throughout the situation. I thought he played great basketball. He played the most minutes out of everybody in the playoffs. So that says a lot. He didn't back down from the challenge. So I like that, and I like to see that Game 5 performance. Did I think he had another one of those in him, Black? No, I did not. 41 points, something like that? Nah. But it was good to see them fight even without Kawhi Leonard. I was very impressed by that, and I do think that the Clippers turn the narrative on what they were essentially pegged as from last season's playoff woes. So I do got to say that. So yeah, we could go to the Mark. Actually, Mark, what did you think about the Clippers and Suns series? What did you think about that? The way that ended up.
Man, I thought the Clippers, fought valiantly. I did have Phoenix winning it as soon as I knew Kawhi really wasn't going to be coming back, and it was poetic that they won in 6 games, man. Because think about it, fellas. If Chris Paul loses that 6th game and this thing goes to 7 games, it's a coin flip, So he needed that, and I think he felt that, and so it was a great game. I do have to ask,
game for Chris.
It was a legacy game. Yep. Legacy game.
Before we move on to the series, fellas, thoughts on like the Clippers' future. Kawhi Leonard's contract is up after this season. Does he move? I mean, they got Rondo's gonna be his contract's up. They signed Serge Ibaka. He was hurt during for most of if not all of the playoffs. What's the future looking like for the Clippers, man? Can they return to form, or are they going to have to move some stuff around?
League, I'll let you answer.
Okay. I think that they can. I think that if Kawhi resigns, I think the Clippers are right back in the situation. I think they're right back in the mix to the top of the Western Conference. And I do think that they'll be able to get the accompanying pieces that they need in order to stay afloat and maintain to get to this area again next season. So, I mean, it's really up to Kawhi. I like the way Reggie Jackson played. I don't know if he's going to come next season playing like that as well. But I thought he was really good this season.
He's about to get a bag.
Yeah.
Terrence Mann leveled up. So, I mean, I think if they re-sign some guys, particularly those two, then absolutely they're right back in the mix. I think Reggie Jackson can compete night in and night out with every point guard if he's motivated.
Do you think Kawhi Leonard is in a Clipper jersey at the beginning of next year?
That's hard to tell. I can't really. I would love to like throw out my stake on that, but it's really hard to tell. Just because
we need a hot take.
Nah, I can't do it. Kawhi is such a recluse. Miami's on the radar. The Bucks are. I don't know if the Bucks are on his radar. The Dallas Mavericks are on his radar. Portland could be on his radar. I mean, it could be a lot of things. So Kawhi literally does what he wants to do. So I really can't say, man.
Yeah,
such an enigmatic goat, right?
Yeah,
right. Mark, what you say?
I personally think Kawhi flirts, but ends up signing long term with the Clippers. Because really, and then tries to get guys similar to what he did when he got Paul George there. He's gonna try to put on his LeBron hat and say, "Hey, this is where I'm at. Let me try to get some guys to come with me." In his very quiet way that he does that.
I will say Paul George has definitely solidified himself as the elite number 2, right?
Elite. Pippen status even.
Yeah, Paul George. Give Paul George the Pip Award. You know what I mean?
For sure.
Is Paul George better than Chris Middleton right now?
Ooh.
I think those are the 2 guys that were vying for the Pip Award for sure.
Yeah.
Because I was gonna say Chris Middleton is hooping, and he's look at that.
Yo,
all right, y'all.
Hey, Pat Bev spazzed.
Ooh.
Did the teammates react appropriately, or should there have been more smoke?
Man, I would have fired off on Pat Bev. I would have fired off on Pat Bev. They let him breathe. There's no way that man should be walking back to his bench after that.
Yeah. Everybody was just kind of like, why'd you do that? Why'd you just like, that's all y'all got?
Yeah.
Hey, Pat Bev is a walking black Air Force. Right. That's the energy. Ooh.
You said he's the embodiment of a black Air Force?
He's the embodiment of a black Air Force, tied up tight to the top string, to the top lace. hey, they should have been smoking Pat Bev Pat right. That night. You know what I mean? Like, real talk. You gonna push my my star point guard. on a legacy night. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, we would have been smoking packs.
Yeah, where was Jay Crowder at? Right?
Hey, and
Where
Jay
was Jay
Crowder's
Crowder
went
at,
soft
man?
on me. All right. Jay Crowder's went soft on us. You know, he's supposed to be an enforcer, right? What? Because he's hitting a couple threes. You know,
You're right. He
and,
want to
you
be
know,
a 3 and D now.
now he wants to be a three. No, you're supposed to be an enforcer.
All
He
right,
always
fellas.
had to hold it down because Cam Johnson was hurt, though. You know what I mean? Like he didn't want to take the L.
Fellas, I got to get your take on the Milwaukee series now. What did we think about that? Did it go as expected, or whether anything stood out? Lee, we can start with you on this one, man.
Man, injuries.
I can't wait to hear this take.
Injuries. That's what it was all about, man. That's what this series is all about. Giannis goes out, Trae Young goes out. Before that, both were playing exceptional basketball. The Hawks were a young, hungry team, not even still with Similac on their breath, right?
Yeah.
Not even understanding how deep they were in the playoffs. Can't even fathom what this means until they reflect on it later down the line. Meanwhile, the Bucks, they've been there before. You know, they're trying to get further than they've been last year. They're at the point that the Hawks are trying to grow into, but for some strange reason, these two clashed in the Eastern Conference Finals on the same level. And I mean, if Giannis never got hurt, if Giannis had his mind right, the series would have been done in 4. All right, which means attacking the basket every single possession. But he didn't want to do that. He wanted to play the perimeter game. So you know, it gave the Hawks a fighting chance, which they were able to take the series a little longer. But Giannis getting hurt made it like something that we could fathom both ways now. We could fathom the Hawks getting into the finals. We could see what that might look like, how the young Hawks might play up to that level to get to the finals. But you know, the Bucks are established, they're seasoned, they're role players, they've been around the block. Particularly Chris Middleton, Brook Lopez, and Drew Holiday. Each of them had a game when Giannis was out. Each of them had a game where they basically dominated and closed out the night. So, you know, the Bucks earned it, man. The Bucks earned it, and I hope that Giannis can be healthy by at least game 1 or game 2 of the finals, so we can really see that clash. But I like what the Hawks did. I like where they're probably gonna make some good moves in the offseason. But the better team did win that series, I would say.
Black.
From a casual standpoint, this was bad basketball, right? There's literally no stars involved.
Yeah.
You have Brook Lopez showing out, going for 33. You know what I'm saying? Drew Holiday looking like MJ, you know what I mean, putting hoopers in blenders and hitting turnaround floaters and whatnot. Chris Middleton with Kobe-like footwork.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You know, Cam Reddish looking like playoff P, right? You had some playoff P comparisons for Cam Reddish this series. You know what I'm saying? Bogdan. Like, these names they're not flying off the paper. So if you're casual, you didn't necessarily enjoy this series. But I think this series was extremely telling as far as you know, what the Bucks offer aside from Giannis Antetokounmpo. I mean, really, they just need a somewhat healthy Giannis Antetokounmpo, and this team still looks championship worthy. Shout out to the Hawks, man. I mean, listen, you know, I've laid into these guys all season, and for them to go this far, I think they shocked everybody. So, you know, pat them on the back. Unfortunately, Trae Young got hurt, so they weren't able to really maximize the moment. But I think we all can agree moving forward, the Hawks are going to be a solid team on the East. Yeah. And if they make some small personnel improvements, you know what I'm saying, they could potentially be a chip team for all we know. Now, that being said, the top of the East is tough. So, you know, I'm not going to go off that ledge. All right. I'm just saying that the Hawks have a lot of young talent. They have a very fiery core. So they will be good for years to come.
Hey, who is the number 1 seed in the East, Black?
Moving forward?
No, this season.
The Nets or the Philly, right? Philly.
Yeah. And who beat them? So that would make the Hawks. That would make the Hawks the top. They're at the top of the East, then, allegedly, right?
No, because they didn't get a chance to. They didn't get an opportunity to play a healthy Nets team. I think.
The Nets weren't at the top. The Nets are at the top, but the Hawks would have to be there as well, then, right? The Hawks are up there at the Hawks, the Bucks, the Sixers, the Nets.
I say the
top
Hawks,
of the East now.
I say the Hawks were a product of a very sloppy playoff set. A lot of cats are getting hurt. A lot of cats are getting exposed. Yeah, they beat Philly fair and square, but I also think if they would have played a healthy Bucks the entire series, they most likely would have lost in 5 games. And if they would have played the Nets, they would have for sure got swept. So, yeah. I guess to answer your question, yes, they're one of the top teams on the East, top 4, I'll say. Yeah. But that's barring some moves being made next season, man. All it takes is one cat to go to Miami, and Miami's back in the combo.
Or Boston. Mark,
right.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, man, we're definitely excited
Mark,
for the. Oh, great, Lee.
I was saying, what did you think about the Hawks and Bucks series?
Oh, okay, yeah, man. I thought it was I kind of felt like the Hawks were on borrowed time, right? I mean, they fought great. They fought great, but they were a average guy that a 6 that lucked up on a 10. You know what I'm saying? So, but I think that you guys made some great points. They have some great pieces. Trae Young, man, he's that dude, man, and I think they have great coaching. And so, if they keep this core intact, they could make some noise next year and for years to come. So, yeah, man, I thought it was a good series. It was poetic that the Bucks won, just like it was that Phoenix won. It's like Giannis and CP. They it's their time. You give them this. You know Absolutely. What I'm saying?
Hey, we definitely smoking that Capella Kush.
So it should be interesting, man. We're gonna stay tuned for later on the show, everyone. We're gonna be highlighting and kind of doing a preview of the finals. So stay with us. We're gonna go there. But for now, guys, we have to talk about the ladies of sports. We want to. It's not a good old boy club. You know what I'm saying? So we're gonna go to the ladies and Rachel Nichols, one of the premier analysts in our business. She has some interesting things to say, man. And so, Leek, I'm gonna let you take it away and kind of play this clip, and I want to get you all's thoughts on this. This is Rachel Nichols, candid, if you will.
Because guess what that would clear the way for? For Maria to do the hosting for them. Yeah. So I have declined. I don't know what their next move is, but they are feeling pressure because of all of that. And I'm trying to figure out how to just, my thing is I wish Maria had all the success in the world. She covers football, she covers basketball. If you need to give her more things to do because you're feeling pressure about your crappy long-time record on diversity, which by the way I myself personally from the female side of it, go for it. Just find it somewhere else. You're not gonna find it with me.
I think Rachel Nichols.
All right, so that's Rachel Nichols talking to Tom Mendelson, I believe, who's a longtime Bron and Paul advisor. Obviously, he's with the Go Along to Get Along gang. He allegedly recorded Rachel Nichols while she was speaking on diversity. And since then, Rachel Nichols has been under a shrapnel of scrutiny from the media and the world at large. And she's actually succumbed to the pressure to the point of apologia. And I will go ahead and play that clip as well, so that way we can have some context. And then we can go in a little bit. Let's see. So here's the apology, the collagen, right?
You said she wound up apologizing?
She wound up apologizing. She already looking orange, right?
Yeah.
She's looking orange, like a little peach right there. All right, here you go.
She literally pop apologized, just ask kiss.
Right.
Just ask kiss, right? All right.
Oh, look, so she's about to. I could already see right now. This isn't just an apology. This is a narrative that she's about to tell. Right?
Yes.
This is look. Talk about. So here's the thing. Like, you know what I mean?
Yes.
I can already. This is a narrative expo. This is not an apology. Let me be very
right.
All right, here we go.
So the first thing they teach you in journalism school is don't be the story. And I don't plan to break that rule today or distract from a fantastic finals. But I also don't want to let the moment pass without saying how much I respect, how much I value our colleagues here at ESPN, how deeply sorry I am for disappointing those I hurt, particularly Maria Taylor, and how grateful I am to be part of this outstanding team. So the first thing they teach you in journalism.
So that right there is the move. I mean,
get out in front of it.
It left a lot to be desired, in my opinion. But yeah.
Black, what's your take on the whole thing, man? Then we'll spin it back to you, Lee.
Yeah. Well, first and foremost, with that part of it, it was definitely cleanup, right? You know, it could have been at the behest of ESPN. It could have been at the behest of her black colleagues, right? But she definitely succumbed to the pressure of the backlash, right? I think we could all agree on that. But as to the first part of it, her initial comments, I got a lot of questions. First and foremost, where did that audio come from, and why was it leaked? Right? Like what type of political move was that in itself? Right?
Yeah.
Was that to create pressure on ESPN to, you know what I'm saying, make some moves? You know, was that to smear Rachel Nichols? You know, was that used by Rachel Nichols for some type of nefarious Machiavellian like tactics? I don't know. But as for the comments themselves, I didn't take it as racist. I don't know if you guys, you know, feel the same. I didn't take it as racist. I didn't hear that. I mean, anytime a so-called white woman, you know, speaks on a so-called black woman, you know, there's definitely going to be those accusations there. I didn't see that in this case. What it sounded like is somebody who had a lot of seniority at ESPN, somebody who's put in time at ESPN, who's had the role as host for you know, playoff games and finals games in ESPN's past, basically speaking on how she feels disgruntled that now they're passing over her in order to you know, amend what they've done in the past of showing lack of diversity. That's how I took it. One thing that did alarm me though was that she never did quite praise Maria Taylor, right? She talked about how, you know, she's done a lot for ESPN, but she never quite said that she was worthy of the job. It almost sounded like, you know, she said that they were basically giving her the job, you know, to get out in front of any type of backlash that they were receiving. So in that case, in that regard, I can see where the racial narrative comes in, but I didn't feel like, I mean, I didn't necessarily feel that she needed to apologize either. What do you guys think, man?
Lee, what's your thoughts?
I was looking at some of the comments on Twitter, and I don't think it was quote unquote racist. You know, let's see, look at that. 3 out of 10 apology. I would agree with that. I give it that, something like that. But yeah, man, I mean, it's interesting because, you know, Maria Taylor, I do think she's good at what she does, and I do think that she, you know, deserves to be on air if that's what ESPN, you know, likes from their analysts. I think she's doing a great job. She messes well with Jalen and all those other guys. I like Maria Taylor's energy with the fellas, with the ex-players. You know what I mean? Rachel Nichols kind of seems like she's on her like white mom kind of bag with the players. You know what I mean? I'm not really into those vibes. You know what I mean? Not saying she's bad at what she does, but that's just the way the energy kind of comes off with like her and Steven Jackson and Chauncey and Kendrick Perkins. Like it's like she Rachel Nichols is just not. She just does not have the seasoning that Maria Taylor has, and I think she's aware of that. Rachel Nichols is used to being the smartest woman in the room, and I think when she's around Maria Taylor, I think she realizes that might not be the case, and
that might not be enough.
Yeah, or it might not be enough. I mean, I think Rachel, I could tell there's salt from the way she was talking about Maria. It may not be racism, but there is salt there, right? There is salt there. So yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. You know, I think a lot of people talk about diversity in the workplace like this behind closed doors. You know what I mean?
Right.
I think this is a very popular narrative amongst people on one side when it comes to these inclusion, policies and things like that. So not surprising for me at all. I do think that Rachel Nichols blew her load, but who was recording her? Why would they recording her on the low? That ain't right either.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Like come on,
you can't just do that to cat. Imagine if we went around doing that to everybody. I know I'd have been done. You know what I mean? Like,
hey, that audio sounded so clear too, right?
It did. Lightweight Tony Stark tech, right? You know what I mean? Like the way they capture that audio. I'd have been done if people captured audio from me, like I was flying the wall stuff. I'd have been done with y'all. I'd have been done with my family. I'd have been done with my job. I'd have been done with my lady. You know what I mean? I love these people. You know what I mean? But I'd have been a finished product. You know what I mean? So you can't go around doing that to people. But at the same time, I don't think it was racist. I do think Rachel Nichols showed her true colors, and it's similar to that orange tint that we just saw, right? Or lack thereof, right? So that's my take on it. Mark, what do you think about this whole shabacle?
Man, you guys bodied it, man. I mean, there's really not more to be said. I totally agree with what you were saying, Leek. That like this happens a lot, you know what I mean? And it just so happens that she was recorded, unfortunately. But I do think, like how you were saying, Black, it wasn't necessarily racism, but there was definitely some seasoning, some particularly salt involved. And I think you guys just said it best. I mean, Maria Taylor vibes well with the players. She's the new up and comer, and that sometimes that doesn't sit well with people, and you start to excuse away why. Well, it's because they're doing this, and this because that's why. Right. No, she might just be it might just be her time. So,
right.
We'll keep an eye on this for sure, man.
I'd say more than anything, this is another indictment on ESPN and the way that they've handled their. It definitely seems like ESPN is reactionary when it comes to how they're treating the diversity issue, right? Mm-hmm. ESPN want to be young and fresh and hip so bad to the point where now it's starting to cause turmoil. It's starting to spill out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I think we're seeing, some of the old guard of ESPN become more and more disgruntled because of it. Yeah. Not saying that the product that they're putting out isn't better, but I think I'm surprised we haven't heard more like this. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? From some of their other hosts and anchors and things. So
yeah. I mean, I just have to say this: if y'all are tired of platforms having all the mess in the streets and come on over to No Hesi because we can give you all the
yeah. I hit up Paul Pierce, man. I sent a link to Paul Pierce, told him to come on down, man, if he really wants to spit his side,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Come over to Hesi, man. We'll give him an unfiltered 30-minute, to really just go in, blow you.
Hey, he better come on the show before I leak those Black Moses audio tapes. Because ain't nobody coming on the show after that. Lightweight, leak those tapes.
All right, fellas. We gotta move. So Bron, of course, he can't go a day without being in the news. So LeBron James calls out a high school commentator. We're gonna see what that was all about right now.
These headlines is crazy, man.
Right.
Having some discrepancies at
like Bronny trying to focus at the line.
LeBron took offense to the announcer saying that he's going to get those calls in his gym.
Are we just gonna let Bron walk into the scores table, man?
He's showing his whole butt right now.
the competitor in LeBron James comes out.
The competitor in LeBron James.
The competitor in LeBron James comes out. He's an intense guy. His son's in the battle. He doesn't want his name to be mentioned while they're competing.
Yep.
And I understand that as a parent.
Yep. I mean, to say that he got that foul because...
No, he drew that foul.
Yeah.
It's a foul. And I understand that.
Is he gonna make the free throws though?
And
Thank you. After all that.
Right.
That's what I'm curious
my
about.
daughter play and she's competing. I don't want you to...
Nope. That form looked very uncomfortable too.
Yeah, Bron iced his own son.
Yeah.
Right.
Oh, that's great. Hey, for his own gain, right?
He made a scene, fellas. What do you guys think about
this? Is y'all king, man.
Obviously, Black. Go ahead, Black, because I feel like you was about to blurt it out.
Yeah, go ahead, Black.
This is y'all king, man. The antics, the narcissism. You know what I mean? Like, listen, bro. I ain't gonna hate on Bron for being a dad. You know what I'm saying? Like, so often we knock. We knock a lot of dudes for not being this, right? We knock MJ for not being there for his sons like this, right? But I do think he was out of line in this regard. You're almost like you're hijacking your own son's narrative at this point. And it's like, we already know you're one of the greatest players of all time, Bron. Like, at some point, you're going to have to. I mean, we've seen this guy in layup lines doing 360 slams. We've seen him, coaching his son in pre-games. We've seen him come in with Drake and Michael B. Jordan, you know what I'm saying? Shaking the hens and kissing the babies, right? At what point are we going to actually focus on what the real narrative is, which is that Bronny is not good? Like, let's get to the meat and potatoes of all of it, right? Bronny is not, he is not a prospect. He's not on anybody's top 20 list, all right? I know he's a sophomore, but he's not even in the top of his class, all right? He wants to be Mikey Williams, okay? Just the other day, I sent you guys a video. It was a comparison of Bronny's fast break dunk and LeBron James, the now iconic Bron Mahawk, right?
Yeah.
In Arco, right? The Arco Arena Bron Mahawk.
Yeah, this scissor Bron Mahawk.
Look nothing alike, right? Bronny barely getting the ball over the basket.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the part we're not focusing on, is the fact that Bronny is not a contender. He's not moving the needle. So it's almost like LeBron got to insert himself to raise Bronny's profile. And in doing so, it keeps Bron's name ringing, basically, right? Yeah. He's not in the playoffs right now. CP's doing his thing. He has yet to acknowledge CP. Right?
Wow.
That's another thing. He has yet to acknowledge that his boy is actually making the finals. Yet he's promoting him versus Goon Squad. And he's at his son's games, wilding out. Listen, man, let LeVar Ball be GOAT dad. All right. Everybody want to be GOAT dad now that LeVar Ball is in the national consciousness. Let LeVar do that. LeBron, you know what I'm saying? You just focus on, getting your team in a position to win next season, and let Bronny do his thing, man, because you're making it hard on the boy. But that's it, man. I digress.
Black is in rare form.
Hey, I was not expecting that was going to be the base of your narrative.
Yo, my narrative took a little turn.
Yeah. He came on talking the coddling, the narcissism. Hey, you're right, man. Bronny is not elite. All right, I'll say that. Bronny is not elite. He's not an elite guard by any means at this stage. What he is a young physical specimen with great genes and short shorts. Right? That's who Bronny is right now, with the cut and short shorts. Right? But that is just because you got the cut and the short shorts doesn't necessarily mean you're creme de la creme on that court, right? I see Bronny get abused by other guards constantly when I'm watching the Ball Is Life. I'll see like Bronny, like it'll be like Bron goes crazy at Bronny's layup or defense. Then I'll watch the video, and there is that one play that they start off the Ball Is Life video with, but after that, it's literally all guards from the other team just cooking Bronny's squad. You know what I mean? Now, I will say this: Bronny is a sophomore, so he is an underclassman. He is a sophomore. But I mean, when Melo was a sophomore, he literally ran the city. You know what I mean? So I mean, and most players, most potential GOATs or GOATs at soft, they did play varsity all 4 years, most of them, and if not, they played 3 years, and they did pretty much were close to dominating their sophomore season. You pretty much seen what it was going to look like when they were a senior as a sophomore, so to speak. And Bronny is not giving us any hints, any taste. He looks like a docile pass first guard. He looks like he was injected by. It looks like he broke into LeVar's home in Chino Hills and drank what nigga they were feeding Lonzo, right? It looked like he broke in.
He had Lonzo's juice on the top of his lip, right?
Hey, him and Aiden Ross, isn't that his troll buddy? Aiden, it's like with his Evo, right? You know what I mean? Like him and Aiden, right, broke into LeVar's home on some viral stuff, right? Trying to go viral. And Roddy drank the juice in the fridge that titled Lonzo on. And I ain't seen him shoot or attack the basket since. But with all that being said, let me make a hard turn on my narrative. With all that being said, I don't have a problem with what Bron did. I have no problem. I have no problem with Bron interrupting the game to have this man put some respect on his name. All right. To me, it's a tone setter for the rest of Bronny's career, right? Yeah, this guy maybe this guy didn't deserve to be called out in front of the whole internet like that, right? But at the same time, this man is an example of commentators to come. Don't speak on LeBron's name when Bronny's playing. When it comes to Bronny, don't mention my name. You know, that's the type of swag Bron's on. You know what I mean? You know, like Bron's trying to be incognito in the gym, you know, with the lower more than the athlete cap. You know what I mean? And yeah, I'm over here doing antics, obviously, right? But that don't mean you speak on them, right? You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, this is for the talking heads only, right? This is food for the talking heads. This is not You are not a part of this, Mr. Commentator, right? So I think that's the situation right there. I have no problem with Bron doing that. And in fact, I think he made an example for the rest of Bronny's career. But Bronny's got to hit those free throws. That is unacceptable. For your dad to make a scene like that and for a whole gym to stop and then for you to finally get to shoot your free throws, and it looks that form looked abysmal. All right. There's no extension, right? No follow through.
No.
It was like no legs, right? All them short shorts, but no legs on the free throws. Ain't that something, right? So they got work to do, but I have no problem with that. Mark, what do you think?
Man, I'm just enjoying y'all's take on this one, man. I maybe tend to lean more towards Black's narrative, but I understand what you're saying, though, Leak. It's like, hey, you're blowing up my spot. Like, I do everything strategically, and you're putting it all out there. Like, I don't want you to do that. You know what I mean?
Yo, my only question is, what the heck is a high school announcer doing making like narrative comments? You know what I mean? You're supposed to be calling the game, bro. You're literally only announcing fouls and ref calls. And now you're making comments on Bronny getting calls in the building because his pops is there.
Yeah,
like
he definitely was trying to.
You're asking for Bron to off your head, right?
Yeah. Right. And he was either expecting. It was either going to go two ways. He was either going to get a raise, right, and his profile raised up, right, or he was going to get approached by Bron, disrespected, and dragged by the internet. It was only. There's only two ways it could go. It looks like it went the ladder for this guy.
And he's lucky he wasn't, quote unquote, removed, right?
Yeah.
After the game, right? As a matter of fact, hey, Leak, man, when we get a chance off mic, man, let's do some research on the announcer himself to see if he's still alive.
Right.
Hey, Bron hit up Maverick and told him, hey, bro, hey, he's got to go, bro.
Hey, I hope this whole remember Bron's name is in the Rachel Nichols thing too, because the guy who Rachel was talking to was LeBron's advisor. So hopefully that wasn't a distraction piece for them handling their business with this announcer guy. You know what I mean? But I digress. Shout out to Bron. Shout out to Bronny. Work on those free throws. And then that announcer guy needs to definitely stay in his lane, as LeVar would say.
Absolutely. Man, so fellas, let's get to the next topic, which is, of course, we're excited. We've come all this way, all these shows geared up for this moment, man. The finals preview. I want to get you guys' thoughts, man. These are two small market teams. I mean, there's no nice way to put it. We got the Phoenix Suns versus the Milwaukee Bucks. Leak, I'm going to start with you on this one, man. What is your take on this series, and what are we looking towards?
Man, so the way we got here is extremely interesting. Obviously, we know a shortened season and injuries had a lot to do with it. But I'm not disappointed with these two teams. I'm happy that it wasn't any of those big rig teams, like the Nets or the Lakers. Right. Or any of the this is literally least expected situation right here, and I'm all here for it. I really am happy to see Drew. I'll start with the Bucks side. I'm happy to see Drew Holiday in the finals. I think he's been an underrated player his whole career, particularly as far as the two-way dynamic goes, and just him pestering smaller guards even to bigger wings. Drew Holiday's fortified his body to be able to bang with the best wings in the game.
Pause.
He's lackluster on offensively some nights, But if he's pulling the load on defense, I don't put too much. I don't harp on that too much. Chris Middleton has the last couple of years he's been coming along in the playoffs, particularly. We've seen him progress as a playoff player over the last 3 years, man. And I'm happy to see him. He's balling out. He literally looks like he went to the Mamba Academy. He literally looks like he went there, spent time, signed up, pulled up to the gym every day, signed in at Mamba Academy and got to work. You know what I mean? So I'm happy to see what he's doing. Giannis, when he gets back, if he can continue to attack the basket, that's all I want to see. I don't want to see him shoot any jump shots, just attack the basket. And I think that the Bucks have a strong chance to win the finals if that is the formula. On the other side, I'm very happy for CP. It's been a long road for him. He kicked, scratched, and crawled his way to the finals. I could say that. Especially to be with this Suns team. Nobody kind of saw this coming. Devin Booker, DeAndre Ayton, all those young guys, Cam Johnson, Mikal Bridges, Cam Payne, Monty Williams. I think the whole situation just has like a Cinderella feel to it. So, look, the Bucks are supposed to win this, but let's be very clear: the Suns do have what they need to take care of this series, and win 4 games. Let's be very clear about that. Chris Paul is an all-time great point guard, first ballot Hall of Famer, respected across the game, and Devin Booker is a young hotshot. This is the type of opportunity that a player with the mentality like Kobe Bryant, Devin Booker, Michael Jordan, Allen Iverson, these guys are going to be on the attack for a moment like this, especially in the finals with everybody watching the biggest stage. So I think Devin Booker can't wait to show what he's got. So yeah, man, I'm happy with this. I think it's going to be a great series. Hopefully Giannis is healthy to go for game 1 because I don't want any excuses. There could be people could put an asterisk next to any title. Really, if you think about it, all the injuries that happened through the playoffs and the regular season. But I want both teams to be healthy so we can really see a fair matchup. So, but yeah, I'm looking forward to this one.
Black, what are your thoughts?
Man, I think this is exactly what Adam Silver wanted this season, right? Whereas, shout out to Nate Curry in the comments. Whereas David Stern was pushing for big market teams and big name stars to push the brand to a worldwide audience. I think what Adam Silver's trying to establish right now is loyalty, team loyalty, right? Small markets can make it, right? Basically trying to spread the wealth throughout the bottom half of the league now.
That inclusion, that hoop inclusion.
Exactly. And then in doing so, you got an international star with Giannis Antetokounmpo, right? You've got a rising star with Devin Booker, who is on the precipice of becoming, the best young player in the NBA.
Right.
You've got a aged GOAT in Chris Paul, who's finally making this is his opportunity to finally get his chip, right? Somebody he's brought his lunch pail to work, every day and hooped hard for his entire career.
Right.
He hasn't quite had enough to make it. He's finally there. He's 36 years old. I mean, these narratives, Chris Middleton, I think we can go ahead and stop the criticism on Chris Middleton, right? We can go ahead and dead that now. Now, obviously, there's still a series to go, but everything that Chris Middleton has done in the playoffs thus far should quiet the naysayers at this point. And we're witnessing him taking control of his own narrative, and he will now have an opportunity to become an NBA champion. I think this is great for the league.
Yeah,
I think this is awesome for the league. It gives teams like, the Minnesota Timberwolves of the world, the Kings of the world, right? Matter of fact, if you're a Kings fan in the comment, please let me know if I'm wrong. You're rooting for the Bucks to win the championship, right? But it gives teams like that hope.
Yeah.
That one, you can draft a player and keep that player, right? A superstar player.
Yeah.
You can draft him, you can keep him, you can build around him, you can provide, solid coaching for him.
Right.
You can still make money and sell tickets, right?
Right.
You can become a primetime team, and you can now make the finals and possibly win. I think this is huge for the league. I think that regardless of who wins, the NBA wins.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But that being said, Bucks and 6. Nah.
Yeah, man. I think like how you guys
okay, that's off the table. That's not all right.
All right, yeah. I was gonna say, do you want to put some dew on it? Nah, but this is casual kryptonite right here, man. I mean, this will filter out any casuals that are still hanging around. You know, only the purists will watch a series like this. And I think, like how you said, D, this is like one of the first series where it's like everybody wins. Like if Giannis doesn't win, we're not gonna body him. If Chris Paul doesn't win, we're not gonna denigrate him. It was just like this is just gonna be a nice finale to a really crazy and stressful season. And this is like, man, everybody wins in this instance, man. This is beautiful.
Yeah, that's interesting, Mark, because when Bron's in the finals or Steph's in the finals or even KD, right?
Yes.
There's so much tension and stress from the media to the players, right? Like the energy between those two, because it's like everybody knows if they somehow don't look like the Ubermensch or with the basketball in their hand, that the media will try to destroy them on Monday morning. You know what I mean?
Yes.
And in this case, is we don't really have that. You know, Giannis, Chris Paul, Devin Booker, Chris Middleton. You know, like look at the people on this bill. Like the media is not killing any of those people. You know what I mean?
No.
But after this, whoever wins will be under that scrutiny from there on. Though we will say that. But man, either way it goes, we're gonna have a new champion. And I believe that no player on either team has a ring. So that's interesting as well.
First series in maybe is it 10 or 11 years where it's no Curry, no LeBron.
That's right. Man.
So this is an extremely safe series.
Yeah,
right?
It is. With that being said, I have a question for you two. I'll start with you, Mark. Who is the most important player in this series?
Man, I have to say Giannis and his health, only because he's the only guy with questionable health. Like if they were all healthy, I'd probably still go Giannis because, like how you said, Lee, if this guy gets downhill and just doesn't quit that, I mean, can you really stop him? You know, if he's shooting too much, he'll kind of stop himself. So for that reason alone, I would think you would have to say he's probably the most integral piece of the whole series. What do you think, Black?
Man, I would have to say it's the best Chris in the playoffs, Chris Middleton.
Ooh. Okay.
I think if Chris Middleton plays the way he's been playing this entire time, it could be a very long series for the Phoenix Suns. That's for sure.
Yeah. What do you think, Lee?
But that's assuming that Giannis comes back at some form or fashion.
Yeah, I definitely feel both of you two on that. I'm actually going to go with Devin Booker. The reason why is because we know what Giannis wants to do and what he's pretty much gonna do. We also know what Chris Middleton brings to the table. Even though the knock on him is a lack of consistency, you're gonna get that 18 to maybe even 32 points, something in that range. Chris Paul being the floor general, the offensive executioner that he is, right? The leader, the galvanizer that he is. The energy he's gonna bring. Will the points be there? We don't know, but the assists will be there. The playmaking will be there. The camaraderie, the team chemistry will be a plus 10, right? We know that. Devin Booker, he's to me the X factor because, he can go off for 40 points, 50 points. And I do think he can do that multiple games in a series if he doesn't have anybody completely bothering him. Now, PJ Tucker and Drew Holiday are two very good perimeter defenders. I'm pretty sure they'll be taking their turns on Devin Booker and Chris Paul. But I do think if they could free him up and get him going early, that's the best move for Phoenix. And I'm gonna throw in a side note. It kind of takes away from my point, but DeAndre Ayton is pretty important too, because you notice in the last two series that man's been shooting like 70% from the field. Like he's pretty much been unstoppable once he gets the ball on the roll. The touch is there, the moves are there, the unselfishness is there. He'll get the ball, bang with you down there, draw the defense in, then pass it back out. I like his defensive activity. So they got to get him more involved too if they want to see success, because he's been playing great, but on very little touches and no plays called for him. So that's another aspect right there. But man, this is going to be a great series. I'm really looking forward to just the purity of the basketball quality. It's lightweight like spring water, right?
I know. We said that there ain't no losers technically, but I do have to ask both of y'all, whose legacy takes a bigger hit if they don't win, Giannis or Chris Paul?
I want to go on a limb.
Takes a bigger hit.
I'm going to go out on the limb and say Giannis, because Giannis is at this level where we could be putting him in the category of a LeBron, of a Kobe. His trajectory is his ceiling is much higher than I think CP's. We see CP ceiling, best point guard, top 5 point guard, but Giannis is in conversation for top 10 all time if he can do this. So for him to start losing finals and never really get that ring, he'll go into the Barkley category, which no one wants that, right? So I think it's a little more pressure on him if I had to choose. What do you fellas think?
I'm gonna say the same thing, Mark. Simply because Giannis is 6'10", 6'11", has the ability to really impact the game from a physical standpoint, dominate the game. Probably him and Embiid, the two most dominant players in the league. Chris Paul is more on the miniature status. Has to get other guys involved, requires other guys to make shots, needs other guys to get going to kind of free himself up a little bit. Kicked, scratch, and crawled, twist, work, and bended, lightweight twerked to get here, right? Lightweight did everything in his power, just to get to the stage. And he's done that. And that alone is a huge accomplishment for CP with all the teams he's been on, the different injuries that he's dealt with, him being traded around, right, in his latter years of his career. So I think CP, this finals, the appearance solidifies CP as an all-time great point guard. He got his team there. He did it with all the pressure coming from another direction and multiple injuries in the playoffs. The most important times of his career, he's been injured or had to sit out. So I think he is verified by this appearance. Giannis, on the other hand, Giannis's road has been much different. Like you said, he's got the Bron comparison. He's supposed to guard KD. You know what I mean? He's the 6'11" freak of nature. His nickname is the Greek Freak. He's a black unicorn. All these things. All these things. Going for Giannis. I think the pressure is on him, and he gets looked at awkwardly if he doesn't take care of the job. What do you think, Black?
Man, I agree with both of you guys. I'm kind of looking at it from the standpoint of like, what does the win do for each of them, right? I feel like if Giannis wins, like we all were expecting Giannis to get a chip at some point. Whereas with like CP, I feel like because of those things you said, Leak, lightweight a chip wasn't guaranteed for Chris Paul.
Right.
We wouldn't have been surprised as much if Chris Paul would have gotten one up to this point, but it wasn't guaranteed. I feel like Giannis, it's almost an expectation of his. Yeah. So I think if CP doesn't get this chip, I don't think it knocks his legacy too far down. But I do agree with you though, Mark. He would definitely be in the Barkley category if he doesn't. One of the greatest players to not win a chip if he doesn't win it. I think CP, it probably knocks CP a little bit because he's also 36. This is probably going to be one of the last, hurrahs for him as well. So I say it probably knocks CP the most if they lose.
Yeah, man, this is a great conversation, and I'm excited for these finals. So we're definitely going to be keeping an eye on it, and we're here, fellas. We're here.
Hey, and real quick, you guys
Yes.
remember when Giannis made that comment after he got that second MVP that he didn't deserve, by the way, and he said, "No, I'm not the MVP. He said, I'm not the MVP until I win a championship." Y'all remember when he said that?
Yep.
That's interesting that he kind of spoke himself into this. Like it just goes to the point, like you said, Black. I think everybody expected Giannis to be in this situation at some point in his career where he's competing for a championship. Even Giannis, even the media, even Budenholzer, everybody pretty much knew that the Bucks were a championship situation, and they had been falling short the years prior. So that's a great point about what you just said.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Well, we're on our way out for this episode, but before we go, we want to pay homage to a lucky player or team or whoever league surprises us with, man. So before we dip, we want to say thank you to everybody who once again viewed this podcast and those who watched the replay. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please subscribe. Please like this video. Please follow us here so you can be click the bell so you can be notified every time we go live. Without further ado, we're going to turn it over to Leak for today's hoop homage.
Absolutely, I appreciate that. So this week I was looking at trying to see who to kind of highlight, and I think the most important thing we could do right now is put emphasis on good basketball, because we do lack stars in this finals. We do lack star power, and Adam Silver does seem to have gotten what he wanted with no GOATs in the lineup. At least so we thought. But there is he may not be a official GOAT, but he sure is the point god. We're going to pay hoop homage to CP3, none other than Chris Paul, a.k.a. Cliff Paul. All right?
By the way, formerly known as CP0, right?
Right.
Yo,
I mean,
Lee,
the praises, yeah.
I was going to say, Lee, could you run those comments, man? There's a lot of chatter, man. I'm seeing a lot of chatter in those comments.
Yeah.
So we see Nate Curry. I was down bad, itching for some No Hesi, man. Real talk.
He was fiending for No Hesi.
Real talk.
Hey, where were you at last week, Nate?
Let's see. Yeah, this was a funny comment. He said Lakers got kicked out and y'all dipped. I'm weak, dog.
That was a lot of people's narrative too.
Right? No, that's not a fair narrative, dog. Come on, man. But I do understand it. It's like a low-hanging fruit narrative, right? I do understand it. Put my comment on the screen. Yes, Nate Curry. Lightweight hate Curry, right? We're gonna put your comments on the screen, bruh. Speaking of bruh, Giannis is the number 2. Brook Lopez the number 1. Yo, what type of world is that where Brook Lopez is the number 1 option? All right. Frank Kaminsky was supposed to smack Pat.
He was supposed to smack Beverly.
Lightweight, that's his name, Smack Beverly.
No, that's facts though. Like one of the bums on the bench got to come in, man.
Yeah.
Right.
You got to step in. Oh,
had him on skates.
Right.
Oh, was that Powell?
Yeah, that was Powell. Yeah.
Yeah, CP is the GOAT of that crab dribble, man. Off the little pick and roll or the Hesi.
Yeah, when he comes off the roll, yeah. When he comes off the roll, it's lightweight like art when he comes off the roll, right?
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I ain't gonna front too, man. I'm glad that the Hawks didn't make the finals because we would have had an illegal tech off between Chris Paul and Trae Young,
right.
It would have been it would have been like a TED talk for illegal tech.
A masterclass.
Hey, somebody would have fouled out for sure. What the? You see what CP3 just did to that man?
Yeah.
He just turned that man around and never switched hands with the ball. This was all off of in and out.
Yo, I saw bruh said something about a no Hesi draft episode, and I just want to say that bruh. Can we finish the finals first? The Kings fans cannot wait. Like the Kings fans championship is the draft, right? It is the draft, and they lose every year though.
Right. Have not won a draft ever.
The Lakers fans pitiful. CP thought he was Dame on that.
And that's the cool part about it. CP3 could go into like you got all these GOAT guards in the league, right? But like CP3 could go into modes where he like takes that guard's ability for a split of the day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you might see him hit like 4 threes in a row on some Dame or Steph stuff. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You might see him attack the paint. You know, on a fast
like Kyrie.
Like right. You know, you might see him, you know, in his half court distribution game, like Mike Conley. You know what I mean? You might see him flashy pass in the half court. You know what I mean? To the cutting man, like a Bron. You know what I mean? Like he absorbs the skill set of his comp for certain points of the game. Once his XP bar gets all the way to the top, he then absorbs your skill set for a certain period of the game. That's his takeover.
Like CP's collected the ankles of all the GOATs, and he's able to like call to their ancestors to like take their abilities, basically.
Oh man, hey, he's never been in great shape either, right? He's been thick with it, right? You know, the whole time.
He got some hips on him, don't he? Built like a auntie.
Yo, Chris Paul shaped like Cole from Martin.
He's shaped like DJ Academics.
Oh.
Hey man, but look, hey, and this is all Suns highlights too. Like this is not even the prime of his career, man.
And he had a great year.
If CP wins the chip, where does he land on the point guard list?
Top 5. I'll put him at 5.
Yeah, he jumps over AI for sure.
Yeah.
He's in the top 5.
He lightweight already over AI.
Well, he doesn't have the MVP, or he doesn't have an MVP.
Yeah, or finals
He's never
appearance.
even been to the finals. Hold up.
You hear me slandering AI?
Hold up. Listen. And this is the issue with a lot of Kobe stands, right? They disrespect Allen Iverson whenever they get the chance. CP has never been to the finals. Until now, he does not have he's never won a game in the finals. He does not have an MVP.
Yeah.
He is not. Listen, CP3 is inspired. There would be no CP3. He wears number 3.
Hey, listen. Hey, I guarantee you, if we're talking just stats, CP3 is head and shoulders better than Allen Iverson.
Oh no!
His player efficiency rating is better. His shot percentages are better. AI was an ill-advised, delusional Chuck star who, quote unquote, had heart. So everybody, so he galvanized young hoop fans across America. But let's not act and cap like AI was just some he was some analytics wonderkind, because he was not. All right.
This is blasphemous, man. I can't even deal with this, man.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Nothing to be said.
Hey, listen. Just because of the questions, everybody thinks that AI is some goat. All right.
I can't believe it.
Yeah, this is unbelievable. Every player's tech alone is influenced by AI. Come on.
Hey, listen,
man.
AI was a cultural icon, but if we're talking about on the court, he was a ill-advised, inefficient, miniature, delusional Chuck star. All right.
Oh, and Dame Lillard, his shots are those are ill-advised shots. Curry. Those are ill-advised.
We don't even,
Hesi cover the community cover for my head top.
Hey, look.
Yeah.
Right, Nate. Right. This is nuts. We don't even have the time to get into this with this guy, man.
That's a whole nother show.
I can't believe it. Look, I know who the hoop homage is for next week. I'll tell you that. I can't believe this guy. This guy needs a crash course. All right. Man.
All right, fellas.
Hey, didn't I see you rocking the arm sleeve at work the other day when it was hot out black? I saw you with an arm sleeve. You had the arm sleeve on, remember? You had it on your shooting arm, remember? You were wearing that. You had an arm sleeve on, the headband. Oh man! Instead of your hat, you was wearing a headband. Remember, you had the arm sleeve on and the headband, and you talk about it was hot outside. That was your excuse.
All right, fellas, we gotta debate this one on another episode, man, for sure.
Right.
But guys, I'm gonna give you the last word. We're getting ready to sign off here. So, League, I'm gonna start with you, man. Any final words for the community?
Hey, shout out to the community. Shout out to Nate, bruh. Green Light. Who else popped up on here? Just appreciate y'all tuning in and keep coming back. You know, we appreciate it. We're gonna keep on cooking up for y'all. Black, man. I might have to leak that recording, man. I might have to Rachel Nichols you, right? I might have to do that, but hey, appreciate you coming on, and Mark, appreciate you making time. Man. This is a great show, so I appreciate everybody tuning in, and I'm looking forward to the finals. They start tomorrow, so you know we'll be tapping back in to see kind of where we're at and progressing to that next Monday. But absolutely, man, it was a pleasure being on here with y'all.
Yes, sir. Black.
Oh man, yeah, I'm at a loss for words. We're almost done with this season. Hey, what do you guys say, man? Maybe we try to make this happen in person before the end of the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm with it.
We you know, maybe we can put that together.
Right.
For sure, man. I'm with that.
Yep.
Yeah,
I'm with that.
And last but not least, AI is not top 5. Don't act me.
All right. On that note, y'all, that's all we got. Till next time, we out. Yeah.
All right, y'all. Just had to throw that up there. All right, y'all.